caught me. Hello, y'all. What's up? Happy Tuesday. I have to shake off some of this Tuesday. Sun is going down way too fucking early energy I got going on. But happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Free Thinkers. It is a little after 8:05, so I apologize, but thank you for either waiting for us to jump in or just tuning in now. But welcome to Free Thinkers. Same gig every time. If you're looking to join the conversation tonight, we would love to have you. Just go to the Facebook page and pinned at the very top, there should be a post for tonight's conversation with a StreamYard link. Just click on the link and that'll bring you directly into this box here that you see live. And you'll be able to have conversation with us live. If you are not able or, not interested in jumping on live, you can definitely join us in the conversation by the comment section on any of the places where you see it streamed, whether it's my page or the Facebook Free Thinkers page or the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel seems to show profiles better than Facebook does. If you don't have your Facebook privilege in your phone with StreamYard and some things, it will show up in the comment section as Facebook user. So a lot of times we don't know who we're talking to or who's commenting with us because it shows up as Facebook user. So change your settings or join us over on the YouTube channel and you can comment and chat live with us as well over there. So two places to, find us so that you can join the conversation. And it's pretty much it. It's best if you have some, earbuds or just, in a space where there's no background noise interference, just so we can hear better. Otherwise, just come in, have a conversation with us. We're actually going to have a good conversation, one that, like Demetrius said, it's not political, it's not controversial, it's not, it's a maybe a good vibe.
We don't really do much political stuff.
No, we don't, and I love that. And I know that you really don't like to do political, and I'm so cool with that because that's not my jam. But we'll talk sometimes like principles of shit that's happening, but not so much like what's actually happening. But yeah, so when she suggested that we have a conversation about something that was a different vibe, I was like, oh, okay. So here we are.
Let me throw this in here too. Normally, I might nicely, politely, low-key drag somebody if they threw that out there, but
why? That's totally like that's a good topic for this. All you. Why?
No, I said low-key, like I do something different than what you're like. If you be on here, then we might do something different.
I was thinking that too, but I was like, well.
But the person who requested it is a faithful watcher and participator.
Absolutely.
So, like, this person of all has the right to be like, yeah, I be watching every week, so
absolutely
changing. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
And that's what we asked for, right? Like we asked for people to give us topic suggestions, and one was given, and Q was like, let's do it. I was like, bet, let's go. So here we are with the a suggested topic. So again, there's not many places where we won't go, but we've done so many conversations that we'll run out of shit. We run out of stuff. So your suggestions are always appreciated. So thank you for that. She tagged you and I, made sure it was in big yellow background. We saw the post and had a suggestion.
I'm always up for anything different to talk about. That
absolutely, yeah, for sure. And and as I was thinking about that post and the topic that she proposed, it definitely took me to different places. That sometimes the conversations that we have often, may not go. So I was like, oh, I kind of like this. I was like, all right. You can't really fucking argue about inspiration. Like, is there much debate when it comes to inspiration? So I was
like, I'll try to find it if it is.
This is probably one of, I would put this in. Yeah, I would put this topic in a very short list of topics that I thought about all fucking day long. There's not many topics that I think about all day long. This one I've thought about all day long. Everything I did today, I thought about inspiration. Is this it? Like, how does this work? So when I didn't think I had anything prepared, I was like, well, I've been thinking about this all day. So there's got to be, this should be interesting. At least I think so.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to inspiration, it's so personal. How do you argue with
like
oh
what
yeah, this inspires
inspires
me?
one
No, it
person?
don't. It
That
shouldn't.
inspiration.
Like, what do you mean?
Okay. Can you be inspired negatively? So I guess there could be a con to inspiration if like Jeffrey Dahmer inspires you,
Ooh.
or
Is there such thing as negative inspiration?
if it's causing you to do bad things, then wouldn't that be negative inspiration? You're still inspired to do crazy shit. Inspiration doesn't always have to be positive.
Well, yeah, like some of these dumb challenges people have on social media. That's
True.
that's negative inspiration.
Crate challenge, stupid as hell, right? But it inspired people to go fucking do it and
So
kill
dumb.
themselves in the meantime. So I guess inspiration doesn't always have to necessarily be like a happy, good, yay, like expression, as opposed to you just giving me the.
I don't know. Did you look at the definition of inspiration?
I didn't this time. I looked up a lot of things about inspiration, but this one I did it, and I said to myself, "Look it up," and I was like, "No, I don't need to."
I prefer not to look it up until the last second.
Okay, well, I just pulled it up, so you let me know what you want to do.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Yeah.
Let me see. Inspiration. That's not. I don't want inspirational. TION. Good luck. Come on. It says the Merriam-Webster dictionary says an inspiring agent or influence.
You can't use the word
in the definition, right? I was gonna say that.
Qualify.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that. I agree. I was gonna say that. The second one is the quality or state of being inspired. Okay, let's go to inspired. Let's see what they say inspired is. Inspired is an adjective. It says outstanding or brilliant in a way or to a degree suggestive of divine. What? Suggestive of divine? That's an interesting fucking definition of inspired. That's not what I would have picked. I don't know. Let me see. Now, if you go to, let's see, the active drawing. This says divine influence as well. The active power of moving the intellect or emotions. There we go. Definition for B, the action or power of moving the intellect or emotions. The act of influencing or suggesting opinions. That would be that's how I identify inspiration.
Say that again. The what?
The action or power of moving the intellect or emotions, and then the act of influencing or suggesting opinions. I think moving the intellect or emotions is what I think inspiration looks like. Because something that I'm getting this inspirational energy from is causing a change in how I think or feel, or something that makes me want to do different, additional because of that thing. So emotion and intellect makes sense to me. The influencing or suggesting opinions, that definitely can be influenced too. This is where maybe the negative influence can come into play. Copycat,
when I Googled it, it says the process of being mentally stimulated to do or feel something, especially to do something creative.
Okay. That makes sense. But it doesn't connotate obviously one energy or another with the word. It's just action, reaction, common denominator, actions in.
I like that. The process of being mentally stimulated to do or feel something.
I mean, that's what it does, right? That's what inspiration is.
Okay, so yeah, I'm cool with that definition. Yeah.
Okay. So with that, inspiration can be in the form of, let's say, a dark energy, or it can be in form of something that we wouldn't identify as a good inspiration. And again, I'll use the example of like a serial killer, a copycat. It inspires you to murder. It inspires you to torture.
But if I went back to this definition you're talking about, especially to do something creative, murderers and serial killers, you're not creating, you're destructing.
Yeah, but what if you plotted and planned and schemed for days or weeks
for destruction? It's for breaking down. You're not building anything.
It is, but you can't say there isn't
building
an
art. Evil empire.
You can't say there isn't an art to, like, say, a serial killer, right? Like, some of these shit stretch out for years and they never catch a person. So some people are wickedly inspired by the thrill of how long would it take to get caught. And then if you're a person that receives pleasure from taking someone's life, you may be inspired negatively.
So one of my questions was, what is the difference between inspiration and motivation?
Motivate, like, I dig in my bag and I think about like motivational interviewing, but like motivational is motivational propelled more by something else, whereas like inspiration can certainly be from within. I don't know. Is it the same thing? I don't feel like it was. I don't feel, without looking at the definition for me personally, I don't feel like those are the same things, but they do mean similar things.
Yeah, and then there's something that pushes you to
motivate,
to do or become or achieve something else.
Motivate. Provide someone with a motive for doing something.
There they go. We get whatever definition you using.
That's for motivate. What you get for motivate? That's literally.
But you put again. Your definition has the word in it again. Where are you getting these definitions?
I literally went to Google and I typed in the word motivate, and it's a verb.
Can't use the word.
The second, I know, right? I know, right? The second definition says stimulate someone's interest or enthusiasm for doing something. So it's like, why does it give this weird ass fucking? Yeah, you can't give a definition of something with the word in it, which you're trying to define. Like that's not how that works. Like I still need to know what that is first.
Right.
So stimulate someone's interest in or enthusiasm for doing something. I mean, it is the same thing as inspired, but I just feel like it's different. I don't know.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Motivation is the catalyst for, or is inspiration the catalyst for motivation? I feel like inspiration is mind and motivation is work. I don't know why I feel like that, but so you have to have your mind prepared before the work happens, but you have to be motivated, I guess, to even then want to be inspired. I don't know. Are they interchangeable, or which order do they go in?
I think inspired will come first. Well, you know, I think inspired seems more internal, where motivation can be internal, but it can also come from exterior circumstance. So, you know, something that someone else does. Well, you know, but that's the same thing as inspired.
Inspiration could too. So certain circumstances could certainly could lead to that. Motivation and inspiration. Are they synonyms or like one and the same? Is this where you use the, you know, what my daughter hates the term, same difference? She's like, there's no such thing. I was like, yes, there is. She was like, no, same difference does not exist. She's like, they're not the same. Motivate. What do you think?
Okay, I don't like doing too much Googling.
I know.
It says motivation refers to a process of stimulating someone to act in a definite way to achieve a goal. Inspiration is defined as an act of influencing people mentally and emotionally to do something creative. Mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe inspiration is just more positive, I guess. Inspiration has a positive connotation to it.
I mean, motivation
because it sounds like they said the same thing.
Motivation doesn't not have a positive connotation, because when you're motivated, it still is a positive energy, though. When you think about the word,
it can be positive, but I don't think it has to be. Just like
It
you hear
doesn't
police
sound
talking
as
about, did they have motive?
strangely as
Did you have motive?
inspiration. What'd you say? Sorry.
I said, just like you know, in a police detective, what was the motive? The motive, you know, what motivated them to you know, to kill their blah blah blah. So a motive, I don't think a motive has.
Couldn't you also say what inspires you to kill your blah blah blah? Is it just the word?
I guess see, I don't think that's the appropriate word.
What inspired you to murder those people? Fuck, that ain't good.
So then that goes back to the definition where it's looked at as a more of a divine thing.
Inspiration.
Yes.
Right. Right.
So it's like, no, God ain't told you to kill that person.
Right.
Like that. Well, that's not it wasn't a higher form of self receive some type of revelation to prompt you to do or be something else.
Right.
That's your lower self propelled you to do that.
Well, but can you still be inspired operating out of your lower self? How do you get out of lower self, right? But can you still be inspired by bad and good things? Yes. But you have to be
maybe I think
you have to be inspired to get to a higher level, higher self.
Right. So regardless of where you are, the thought and the idea, if it propels you upward, then I think they use the term inspiration for that. Now, I think motivation is just more general, where it just moves you. Where I don't think it's a definite upward. It could be upward, it could be lateral, it could be downward, but it's a movement. Like motivation just moves you from where you are to another space.
Yeah. Is it because it has, I don't know. I was thinking, is it because it sounds like move, right? Motivate, but I don't know. It seems like there's two different connotations to those words, but they're really not terribly different words.
No.
I
guess
like
according
that, though.
with it, because when they inspiration, they use words like you know, divine and
Yeah.
and what's the other one? Creative. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
all about positive, upward, higher self vibrations.
Definitely.
Huh. Okay.
And since words are very, 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 very important, I think that it's like,
so when somebody says this, I'm this person, they're an inspirational speaker. It's designed to promote you to be a better version of yourself. Right. No one uses the term inspirational speaker and it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna tell it how it is, good, the bad, the ugly. Like inspiration is designed to get.
Speaker might though.
Right, yeah, exactly. Right. And that's why probably I never call myself inspirational.
Right.
You know, because I can't guarantee you that I'm always going to say something that's designed to make you feel better or to uplift you, because you know, I don't think that's always life. But yeah. So, okay. Yeah. I mean, okay.
Inspiration is a thought, motivation is a course from inspiration. Inspiration is enlightenment, for which one then uses a cause. Yeah.
So, Nikki, what inspires you?
I knew you were going to ask that question. So, kid, I've been thinking about this all day long. And then I thought to myself,
ooh.
When I ask you this question, I'm like, I bet he could like ramble off a slew of things, just, you know, right off the tip of his tongue that, you know, are inspirational things easily, right? So I've been thinking about it all day, but
not always specifically, but generally. Like there's different ways that I view things. Like first thing, I can speak to generally how I'm inspired, and then then I can go into more specifics. But yeah, go ahead, keep going.
So, and I don't know why I sort of struggled with the word inspiration today in thinking about something that inspires. Only be.
Can you think of a time that you've ever been in? Well, no, I ain't gonna. No, I'm gonna stay up there.
So as the day goes on, and I literally think about my life and my circumstances, my situations, my experiences, my friends, my family, the people that I love, just the life in which I live and lead. People inspire me every fucking day. People inspire me every day. Things inspire me every day. The sunshine inspires me every day. Blue skies inspire me. Blue Jays, Cardinals, dirt, like my children, people, you, like people on the internet, like, there's so many things that inspire me every single day. So I kind of had to then go a little bit deeper than that and wonder, like, why did you struggle with this question? But then when the reality of
what you're a negative thinker.
I don't think I'm a negative thinker, and I'm a very I'm a very gracious person in the aspect of like I don't know. There's a way to say the word, like attitude of gratitude. I don't know if gracious is the way you say gratitude. I don't like the way it sounds, but grateful. Like I'm very grateful for every single person that has ever been in my life that has been a lesson or a love, whatever the case may be, and so it was interesting asking myself, like, so then why did it take so long to answer that question when I asked myself that question?
Okay.
But then it made me really, 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 really just be reminded of how fortunate I am that there's a lot of things that inspire me, but I realize I get stuck a lot. And so that's where the motivation comes into play. Lately, though, I have been very inspired and motivated by people who have brought ideas and things into my life that are unsticking me a little bit. So inspiration comes from so many different things every single day. And I realized that why it took me so long in the day to put some things together was still interesting to me, but a lot. Everything inspires me. Even fucked up shit inspires me.
Okay. Do you have anything specific, like you could think of a time, say, I am a different person now because of this person, this incident, and how did it make you different? Like, I'm trying to think.
Like a teacher or like a mentor or like,
or it could be, or just someone that you're around and like it inspired you. Like I'm trying to
she said, what inspired me to be a baker? I love food. I grew up around food. My dad loved to cook. My mom loved to bake. My dad loved to cook. Food was just a part of our whole entire existence growing up. So food has just always been a thing. And then I basically became a wife. I became a mom at 18, became a fucking wife at like 21, and you got to feed your family. So easily learning, that there's a love of cooking and baking. But more so feeding people and watching people's expression when they eat my food or eat my desserts, like knowing that, they're happy with something that I've made. So what inspired that? Shit, just wanted to feed my people affordably, take care of my man and my child. But today it's turned into something, different.
right.
That's a good question. I like that. Now it's your turn. I'm curious about that too.
So what inspired me to be a podcaster? I think it was something that was, maybe it's been a part of me for a long time, but I couldn't find the vehicle. So I used to be a rapper for many years. But I don't think I'm a good rapper, but I'm not the best rapper in terms of poetic ability. I can make words rhyme, and I'm really good with timing because I used to be a drummer. So I can, like, the skill of rap, I can rap well, but I don't have the creative mindset that takes me to dreamland and back and be able to paint pictures like other people can. And then also, my father was a preacher. I was around a lot of preaching in church and things like that. So there were, I guess, I always had not always. Well, yes, I did. I always had the desire to want to communicate. And even when I was a terrible communicator, I had a desire to learn how to be a better communicator. So as podcasting started to come around, then I was like, this is probably what I always wanted. But the vehicle itself, I was trying to fulfill what I'm doing now in other vehicles like rap. And I know I didn't want to be a preacher, and regardless of who wanted me to be a preacher, I know I didn't want to be a preacher because it's too constricting. And actually, I did. I wasn't a pastor, but I did some teaching and I have preached a couple sermons before. But that wasn't my true lane. So podcasting, I discovered was something. This is the format that gives me the opportunity to really express myself the way that I want to without the boundaries of trying to fit into a 16 bar, or trying to fit it within the parameters of music, or trying to fit it within the parameters of religion. I could just be myself. So that was one thing. And then the other thing is COVID.
Yeah,
just
that forced the hand.
the realization that I'm my life is not going to be permanent, and my desire to want to leave as much of myself behind as possible. So I wanted to make sure that if I expire prematurely, I leave myself plenty of my thoughts, my perspectives behind for my children. Really, it's really about my children more than anything else. I have a lot of younger children. Some conversations I can have with them, some conversations they're not old enough for me to have conversations with. So what happens is I would do as much material and as wide array of material as I possibly can, so that if I pass and my children are still young, they can still come back and they can find out almost everything they need to know about how
what did my dad think about XYZ.
Right. Yeah. And I got everything. And that's what STEM, not just free thinkers, but also, when I would do 21 questions,
yeah,
I do 30 on the thread. I was as wide and random as possible, because somewhere in there, it would, that question, whatever question someone would have, would be answered. And my last thing, and I've said this on several podcasts before, I truly feel that in the future, they will be able to replicate your likeness or your essence. So I'm leaving as much of a footprint behind, so that, and it's funny because AI is here now, and all this stuff I've been talking about is already starting to come about. So at some point in time, when they decide, instead of like nowadays, you might have a oil painting or a picture of one of your great grandparents or something like that sitting up on the wall. One day they just gonna have a statue, maybe a statue, and my great grandchildren will be able to come up to the statue and be like, "Hey, great granddad, what do you think about this?" And they will have the accumulation of all of my thoughts, and they'll put all of it together, and my essence will be able to respond to them based off of my history. I can tell them how I grew up, because it's already out there now. Once I put it out there, they'll be able to put all of it together to reform a likeness of myself. And it may be a statue, it may be an actual person one day.
So a little robot, a little clone, a little.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God!
Everybody's gonna have these. They're already starting in the pre-phases of it.
If it's already been introduced in the movies, then it's already happening. So
super long answer short. This is another way that I get to live forever. How about that?
I love it though, but you have been literally giving that answer for years. You have been saying that way before we ever went on the internet, you know, when we were in.
But again, that's part of my motivation. Though. So
shop.
when people ask, how can y'all keep doing this? How you do so many of them and you still like ain't tired of doing them? When you know when COVID came out, a lot of people started doing stuff and they ain't doing them no more because
right.
It was the seclusion inspired them to do it.
Right, right,
You're not being able to go out and meet people,
right.
and that inspired people to either be a part of the podcast or start their own. But once that went away and you could go back to normal life, then you were no longer inspired to do it. But my motivation, since those are my motivations, then it's not going to stop.
Right. Good answer. Good question.
Yeah, who else? Good question.
So freedom inspired you to use public platforms. Freedom inspired you to use public platforms. Did freedom inspire you to inspire us to use public platforms?
I think she may have been talking about when I was talking more so about religion and not wanting to preach.
Okay.
Because then when I was talking about pocket, like I'm not bound by the rules of religion.
Right.
You can say this, but you can't say that.
Right.
You
Right.
Say this, you can't say that, or
right. Right. Okay. Makes sense. I wasn't sure how I was reading that. I was like, huh, yeah. Good thought. What about you? What inspires you? What are some inspiration? Do you have any inspirational moments that come to mind?
Okay, let me give you a couple general, and we might only be an hour on this. I don't know. I don't know if we will make 90 minutes on this. We might just make an hour.
That's fine.
So one thing in general that inspires me is transparency. People who are transparent, know how to be transparent. I'm inspired by that because that's something that was hard for me. It's still hard for me. It's something that I have a desire to grow in. And it's helped me. Like I'm people would say I'm pretty transparent when I do shows and when I'm live, but a lot of that came from lots of people who I know who would really you would openly talk about your divorce. You'd openly talk about infidelity. You'd openly talk about your mess ups and hang ups and that you used to be an addict. And like, at one point in my life, I'm like, man, I don't think I would have had the courage to speak on that. But also it inspired me because it's also, I realize how empowering it is to be able to just speak your truth without worry of how people perceive you because so transparency inspires me. People who are transparent, I get inspired. I'm like, man, so then some people are talking, I'm like, man, I really appreciate you sharing that. That's awesome. It empowers me to hear you speak on that.
Right.
And when I get inspired by it, then I know me being transparent has the ability to help someone else.
Absolutely.
And I get empowered by that. So transparent people that inspires me. Ordinary people who excel, that inspires me.
Right.
And one of the things is even like when you're dealing with maybe friends, people that you grew up with, Tierra.
Right.
Hey, we came from the same place, came from the same. And now you running businesses and doing that's inspiring.
Yeah, for sure.
Because whatever you had, we all came from the same. Some might have had a little more, a little less than others, but ain't none of us had that much coming from where we came from. And to see people move with what they had and be able to excel, and there's several people, in my city like that. That I grew up with, and it's one of my very best friends. He is he went from being a drug dealer, being in jail, in and out. I used to plead with him on many occasions because I didn't know if he was going to be alive in our older age. And now He got out. He got into the culinary arts. He's a chef. Everybody in the whole city know who he is because he feed the whole city now.
Oh, that's what's
doing
up.
catering and stuff like that. That's my guy. Everybody know who he is. That inspires me.
Right.
You know, we all grew up day to day. He lived right next door, well, almost next door to me. So seeing ordinary people excel, that inspires me.
I like that. I like that. Because it shows you that things are tangible, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I can fucking do this. Like, this happens for regular people.
Yep.
Perfect way to phrase that.
Activists inspire me.
Hell yeah.
And the funny thing is, I'm not an activist, and I know
I'm not. You're not.
And I'm not, and I don't even try to be.
No, you don't. And you'll tell people, no, I'm not going to that. No, I don't do that.
But I am really inspired by, like, you know, people who have a passion to make change and to fight for what is right.
Right. Hell
and to work it, whether you move a boulder, you move a pebble. You like, I'm gonna make some movement. I'm going to make some change, or at least I'm going to do my part to make as much change as possible to put pressure on wicked society or people who are unjust or not operating fairly. Like, I have huge respect, and I am inspired by activists. Now, I'm not inspired to be an activist, but it inspires me to move on things, even because a lot of times it ain't just me. A lot of people, they'll look at things that activists do and they be like, that ain't gonna work. They may not say it openly.
Right.
Like, I'm looking right now. There's some people that I know who, you know, they're actively fighting the gentrification and how they're trying to move all these people out of East Austin. And I'm looking at it, and I'll be honest, I'm looking like, that ain't gonna work. I'm saying gentrification happened in too many cities, and I'm like, that ain't gonna work. But
I mean, I
appreciate people like, I'm going to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, regardless of whatever the outcome is. Just do the right thing and then let the chips fall where they lay. So that does inspire me, and I you know, I appreciate that. I'll never say a bad word about people who go out there and do it. And you know, I can support them either verbally or share posts or do other things, or even sometimes show up. You know, I want to show up at different rallies and things like that. But I remember one time, I don't know if you was there. We was doing Meeting of the Minds, and we did something. It was something that had to do with race relation. It was, I'm sure it had something to do after some police probably did something to some black man. But I remember it was a Meeting of the Minds that we did, and whatever that topic was, it was like 20 people showed up to the basement. I was like, oh my God, it was like so many people, you couldn't even fit everybody up in there.
And there's only a few times where it got that packed.
And
so
emotions were high, and people were talking. We had a lot of activist people in there and stuff like that. And we talked through a lot of stuff. And by the end, it's like, okay, well, what we need to do is do this, and what we need to do is, you know, and then the person I was working with, well, what do we do if we want to? I'm like, yeah, we're not starting none of that.
He said,
our job is to spark the conversation.
Right.
Now, if you want to do some activist stuff or turn it into a movement, I'm like, yeah, Meeting of the Minds, that we're not gonna turn this into a movement. That ain't enough. I already know, like, there is no real fuel behind it for us if that's not who you are.
Right.
And that's why I don't get involved in certain things. I have to ask myself, do I have the fuel needed to carry out this thing? And if all you're doing is going off of emotions come and go. I can get emotional about something, get upset, and I can show up for a day, and I can show up for 2 days, and I can show up for 3 days. But when those emotions fade, just like we see all the time with Alton Sterling and George Floyd and a lot of people like that, we have the high energy and emotion to rally, to march, to riot if need be. But the average person does not have the fuel to keep it going, to go to over to 12th Street, where the state building is, to go to your local whatever they call them, the to actually push for laws to be changed. A lot of people they ain't got that type of fuel to just keep doing it and keep showing up.
Yeah.
Now and they know that. They're
Well,
like, oh, yeah,
they don't make it easy. They don't make it easy either. Like city council meetings are midday on a weekday type shit. Like a lot of people can't take off a fucking Tuesday to go sit at city council all day. Like, so to your point of, having the energy for, I can understand that. And for somebody, I've definitely done some activist shit. Don't get me wrong, and I'm pretty loud about the things that I'm passionate about, and
Right.
things, But I also feel like a lot of people of color have the right to fucking check out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to go stand in front of something somewhere and hold a sign or do those things. Like, you literally have to be Black every day. Like, you have to live this every day, right? Like, and they say when we talk about racism, police brutality, things like that, of those types of activists lanes, I guess, power is power. There's power in numbers, but really it's white people's job to change those things and make those things be known and make it fucking happen. What other people can do is, and I've been saying this probably since the very first meeting of the minds I ever fucking came to, is control the dollar. Once the dollar is controlled, the power is fucking flipped. But that goes back to discipline. So even though you're not maybe an activist, you still may make, active decisions daily, right?
Sure.
But I also feel like you get a pass though too. And so should I even say finna go out there and stand in line for, because you do this every fucking day, right? When you leave the house. So
right. But you just have to realize, and I think what maturity does is allow you to realize that everyone has their thing. I remember it was a pastor. I can't remember who said it was, but it was a pastor in a meeting. It was wasn't during a service, but they were doing kind of like a workshop. But basically the thing was, don't diminish anyone's gift just because it's not yours.
Sure.
So you have some people who are starters, like they're idealists, and they can bring ideas and thoughts and be like, oh, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do
those
this.
people. You need those people.
Now, well, what you got to realize though, the person who's the starter, they may not be the person who carry that stuff out.
Absolutely.
They're good with coming up with ideas.
Yep, that's their jam. That's their bag.
And all they do now, if you ask them, okay, well, why don't you do, when it comes to follow through and steps, that may not be their thing.
Yeah. And
you'll get frustrated because, well, you came up with the idea. How come you do that? Right. That ain't what they design. You have other people who can't come up with ideas,
but can execute like a motherfucker.
Oh man, if you come up with the idea, then they're like, okay, so
that's me. I can run with that bitch as long as you want to, but coming up with an idea, killing me.
Yeah, and you have some people who they're not designed to lead it or spearhead, but they're just designed to help. Maybe they could do the clerical stuff in the background.
Absolutely.
Maybe
and you need those people too.
You
gotta have them to make the machine run well.
You can't get upset because that's their thing and like, well, why don't you do this too? No,
right. That's not my strong suit. That's not what I do. Yeah.
Right. So and some people, that's even with business. Some people will start a business and they're like, okay, I get it to a certain point, then I'll sell the business off because it's not me to maintain it. My ideas are flowing too much for me to stay in this spot, nurturing this one idea. I'm designed to just keep coming up with new ideas and starting other stuff. So you got to just learn how to appreciate there's all types of people. And if you learn how to tap into what they do possess versus focusing on what they don't, you'll get further along, in life and in that relationship with that person.
I agree.
Do you have is there any general inspirations that you have that you can think of? Like what generally inspires you? Like where does your inspiration come from when it does come?
I definitely am inspired by people and things that want, desire, and subscribe to like just wellness. Not necessarily like physical wellness exclusively, or like those things do, I believe, inadvertently come with it. But when you subscribe to wellness, it's like mind, body, spirit. That doesn't mean that you're like going to the spa all the time. It means that like you're
Mhm.
cleaning your fucking insides, you're cleaning your spirit, you're cleaning your soul, you're cleaning your space, like you're decluttering your literal, you know, place that you would call your temple, you know. So people who are, you know, who think well thoughts, people who try to live a well life. And I shouldn't say try, because I grew up, my dad always taught us that trying is lying, right? But people who fucking do it, people who live a well life, people who are committed and disciplined, who make good decisions with their body, who make good decisions with their spirit, who make good decisions with their heart, who make good decisions with other
Mhm.
people's body and other people's spirits and other people's heart. Um, those people inspire me because it feels like oftentimes there are less of them than there are of the alternative.
Right.
And to be somebody who subscribes to a a wellness type of life, it can be disheartening when you come across people who are not well, because it's only one or the other. You're either well, or you're well or thinking in a well space, or you're not well and you're operating out of that space. So that inspires me, because it tells me that even though most of us have all been done really, really shitty numerous of times in our lives and have our
Right.
own traumas that we've come from, and our own, just dark experiences in life, that people still are good to others, and that people still want good for others, and more than anything want it for themselves and put themselves first. um, that inspires the fuck out of me, because it gets defeating sometimes when you get in a little bubble and you kind of get stuck in your emotional rut, your spiritual rut, where you just are stuck. You're just kind of fucking stuck. So I think those are the most inspiring people for
Oh,
me.
okay. Oh, okay. Let me I'm gonna go right back to that in just a second. Let
Okay.
me give me this is an inspiration slash motivation. Like I said, I'm being very general right now.
Okay.
Time. Time is an inspiration for me. Time
Meaning.
inspire the uh the lack of time that we have here on this earth
Yep. Yep. Yep.
inspires
Yep.
me to number one, to be better than I am, but
Yeah.
also it inspires me to seize every moment. And I'm in a constant practice of really
Yes.
taking time to smell the flowers each and every day.
Yeah.
There's sometimes I'm just driving down the road and it's like it don't matter how many times you drive down this road, you're not gonna drive at this time in this way. The sun
Right.
is not going to hit your face in this
Right.
type of way ever
Right.
again. Make
Right.
sure that you're taking it in, that you're appreciating it, that you're observing it and acknowledging everything, and just in the space, just be present. Be present.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Sorry, go
time
ahead.
inspires that, because if you have a limited amount of sunrises and sunsets.
Yep. And I think, to further what you just said, for me personally, like after my dad passed, the value of time, I've been struggling with that for the last 4 years.
Mhm.
And it's like that happened, and then the reality is, I'm getting older. My kids are
Yes.
getting older. Like, I just had a fucking 27-year-old kid. Like, oh my fucking god! Like, I just turned 45. How is this possible? Like, holy smokes. So it's definitely a motivator. It's a
Right.
fucking motivator to definitely live an inspired life. That's for damn sure.
One of the sayings that I'd say I'm in the third quarter right now.
Yeah,
If life
I
is
heard you say
if
that
life is a
before.
game, I'm in the
Yeah,
third quarter right now.
we
And if
definitely
I
in the
want
third
to take
quarter.
that analogy a little bit further,
Yep.
um, what you do in the first 3 quarters will determine.
Yeah.
So what happens is, oh, this sounds so terrible.
Yeah.
If you just think about regular games. If you really didn't put your best foot forward in the first 3 quarters, by the time the fourth quarter come, it's too late. It's too late for you to. You already, like nobody wants to hear that. It's fourth quarter comebacks are really hard.
Yeah,
but you want to make sure that you are working those first 3 quarters to make sure that you're keeping yourself in the game.
Oh, put that on a t-shirt. Fourth quarter comebacks is hard.
Yep.
It is.
So yeah,
you know what? You just inspire me, Q. You inspire me a lot. But
I told you I used to be a rapper.
You motivate me a lot too.
I used to be a rapper. I got the metaphors.
You just inspire me. Holy shit! Like I'm gonna have to stay with that one for a minute. But I love that because time is definitely of the essence. Period. It just is. Yeah. It just is, and that's why I'm so particular about today. Who I let into my space, period. Just am.
Okay, so let me go back to where I was. You prompted a question out of me. When you finding yourself lacking inspiration, where do you go, or do you have a process of finding it? Almost similar to like whenever I'm down in a stupor or kind of in a semi state of depression, I have certain steps that I go to help pull myself out of it.
You're conscious of this, or you just know that this is what you do?
No, I'm conscious of it. And the first thing I have to acknowledge, Q, you in a depressive state right now. And once I acknowledge that to myself, then kicks in certain things that I purposefully do that I know will pull me out of that rut.
Sure.
Because I know, like, even for that, I know.
Yep.
When the more depressed I get, the more I want to seclude.
Yeah.
The more I lose energy, I lose drive. So everything that I do is intentional. Like when I get in that rut, I make it a point to call and reach out to my close friends. And I'm not gonna sit there and tell them I'm in a rut and all that. That ain't just how I operate. I need
someone to dump on you all my shit.
I just need somebody to talk to get myself back to get myself feeling normal. And we'll just talk about whatever. I start helping people more. Takes the focus off of the internally this woe is me mentality, and I'm feeling bad or sad or whatever for myself. Let me start helping other people. Find ways that I can help other people, reach out to them. That I start listening to a lot of comedy shows. I do things that's going to number one is going to prompt me to laugh, and then number two, comedy has, depending on what you listen to, a lot of it has really dark undertones. Comedy will talk about the most messed up stuff, and they know how to bring levity to it.
Right.
So, like, in what other setting can you talk about being homeless or broke on the streets, or and still you find a way to laugh about it. So some of the worst, if I could find a way to laugh about some of the worst stuff, then it takes away how heavy I feel. Like, yeah.
Well, laughter is also like frequency raising. Laughter takes you, changes your frequency, changes your space, changes your energy, your aura, like everything that comes out of you, your how much electricity is moving and where it's going. Like all that is laughter. I think that's why I love comedy.
I do something that my mother has, well, a lot of people do, but like I start speaking daily affirmations. Like you can find, I don't know if you know about daily affirmations, but they're in books. You can go online and there's affirmations.
Well, there's apps that'll text you every day. They'll
all you do, and there's certain times that I just put it on and I make myself repeat what is,
Right.
Today is a wonderful day. Today is a wonderful day. Today is unlike any other day. Today is unlike any other day. Today I will reach and inspire my goals and dreams. Today I don't feel none of that stuff, but I'm gonna keep on speaking it. I'm just gonna keep on speaking until you have to combat the negative energy and negative thoughts that's going on in your mind. You just have to keep on speaking. And those are things that bring me out of when I get in those depressive states. So that was the longest example I could use when I asked this question. Do you have steps or procedures when you feel uninspired? Is there anything that you do to give yourself inspiration?
Are you asking me again?
Yes, I am.
So let's see. Steps. I think because okay, so we're gonna keep that question as the 4 question, but like I want to put an addendum to that question.
Sure.
Do you ever inspire yourself? Like is it normal to get inspiration from yourself? Can you derive inspiration from yourself? Can you inspire yourself? Can you motivate yourself?
I think so, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And I think so too, because as I was thinking about this all fucking day today, right? Trying to figure out how I'm going to answer these questions tonight. I also thought to myself, bitch, you inspire yourself.
Right.
I mean, I inspire myself. I'm proud of myself. So with that being said, and then, kind of coming from where I come from, my background and just how I was raised and the system in which I was raised in, I think that, acknowledgement is obviously step 1 in any fucking problem, right? So acknowledgement obviously has to happen first, and I'm okay with that. So once I acknowledge whatever it is, I'm usually really good about detaching emotionally, physically, spiritually, getting out of my head, getting out of my space, and trying to look at things in many different perspectives, many different, like the whole, analogy that we use all the time. We're all looking at the same fucking elephant. It's just from different places. So I think, I've learned so many tools from so many people, been inspired and motivated by so many people to continue to move that direction, that the steps are, identify, acknowledge, and do the fucking work, because you know what you have to do to get out of, that place. Because fuck yeah, depression is a bitch. Depression will definitely start telling you other things and make you feeling things. And I literally can go days and days and days and days and days without talking to anybody except my kids. And if they weren't here, I wouldn't talk to a soul for days. And I'm very okay with that. So it's easy sometimes when depression kicks in and those moments kick in where you can manifest some bullshit. But I don't let myself do that. Like, that's not allowed. Even something, it might sound crazy, right? But like when I know that my period is coming and my fucking mental is definitely not operating the way it would have 3 days before, but it will be fine in another couple days.
Right.
It's not that big of a deal. You don't have to be so emotional about certain things, So identifying, checking me first and foremost every single time. So I and then honestly removing myself from most situations. I go outside. I fucking go outside.
Yes, it's so important. Get some air. Let the sun hit you. And I do that on the regular. Like I'm huge with walking.
Yeah.
Like even if I don't do nothing all day, I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna let the sun hit my face. I'm gonna let the breeze hit me, and I will 90% of the time, no phone. As much as I like listening to podcasts, I don't listen to any. Like I'm just
other
taking in silence, and I'm allowing my soul to speak back to me what it wants to say. And now one thing, like Golden Brown Sugar said, yes, when you think everything that you've overcome and realize, that's one of the main things is when you talk about inspiring yourself.
Right.
Go back, look at your history.
Hell yeah, look what
no matter how I'm feeling, like, yo, you know how much you didn't came through. You know what you did last time. Like, example, inspire myself at the beginning of which is coming back around. I'm probably gonna have to hit it again, but at the beginning of this year, I went on a crazy diet and I lost like 35 pounds.
What you do? Like it was like the 90-day don't eat food thing, right?
No. It wasn't even don't eat food. It was
don't eat anything you like. You fucking killed yourself.
I did.
You're like, I can have water
no
and like water.
Nothing, favorite foods or what was the word I used?
You weren't eating anything that tasted good. You were not eating anything that tasted
And I did that, and I went from 250 pounds to 215. January 1st, I was 250 pounds, and by March the 3rd, I was 215, and I dropped that. I'm so coming back around. Now I'm somewhere in the middle of there. Now I need to come back down again.
Right,
But
right.
now what Golden Brown Chick was talking, I have my own experience that I can pull off, and it's like, oh, yeah, you
Right.
did it last time. You can do it again.
You
Hey, if
did
it's round
that.
2, then let's go again. Let's get it.
Yep. Yeah, okay, good. So because I asked myself that question today, I was like, can you inspire yourself? I was like, you can be proud of yourself. So is it the same thing as inspiration? If in the thinking about what you've overcome motivates or propels this thought that I can do this again, like
Right.
I think that it's probably healthy if you motivate yourself. I think it's probably healthy and along the lines of wellness if you are able to inspire your own damn self. Okay, good. Okay, so 2 people think that that's okay, so it's okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Good. And I think that I think that that's probably the most important inspiration out of anything. Is
Okay. Oh, so let me say this, man. For me, it's all because to go back to the question, like when you feel uninspired, what do you do to gain inspiration?
okay.
For me, and this is not, I don't even know how many people can take this, but I've been in the sales industry for over almost 25 years now. I think it's
Right.
24 years. Part of when I feel like I'm uninspired, I get challenged. One of the things where I got challenged even earlier in the year, had a conversation with God. I think, was it, or did I get yes, I did. Had a conversation. And it came through, I was listening to someone else speak, and it prompted another thought in me. And the thought was, when was the last time you had a real failure?
Okay.
And for me, I'm like, I haven't had a real failure in quite a long time. Everything been going good, everything been going fine for me. So most people would look at that like, oh yeah, that's great. I looked at that as, if you haven't had a failure in a long time, that means Q, you haven't really been stretching yourself. The most successful people in the world, millionaires, billionaires, successful people, they will tell you they fail all the time. So if you're not experiencing any levels of failure, that means you're not putting yourself
Not
out
trying.
there.
You're not doing something to
You're not
fail.
stretching yourself outside of your comfort zone that gives you the opportunity
I
to
was
fail.
just gonna
And I
say, or
was
you're
like, you
operating
know
from
what?
within a comfort zone. I was just gonna say that.
So for me, a lot of that, when I feel uninspired or this, like, I'm like, I need to put myself out on some um ledges of opportunity that has the potential of success or failure. If I'm not getting told no at least 3 to 5 times a month, then I'm not stretching myself. I'm not doing enough
Mm,
that's gonna get me to new, because if I'm trying to get to new spaces in my life, then I can't just do what's comfortable for me. I got to
right.
stretch myself. I got to try things that I've never tried before. I gotta I got turned down for a couple promotions this year. You know, like I
Okay.
stretched out there. There's
Right.
different things that I'm trying, and it's like cool. And that being uncomfortable is what inspires me, because then it's like, okay, so what else do I need to do?
Right.
What else do I need to learn? What else?
Mhm.
You know, so then
Mhm.
now I'm getting those juices back. Like now I'm going to give myself some real challenges that I need to overcome.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, that's what's, and now I'm inspired again.
Mhm.
Like, oh, it's time to
Mhm.
elevate.
Mhm.
And I have to rise to the occasion.
Right. And you have to do the work. You have
Yep.
to do work. You have to
Mhm.
do the only way to get whatever it is that is inspiring you is you have to do the work. That's the only way it's gonna come.
Yeah, comfort kills.
I like
Yep.
that. But they say oftentimes that it's the comfort zone is a safe place. But what I have been inspired by you and a lot of other men, because you were talking about just, we were talking about earlier, the person who comes up with the idea and the person who, may execute an idea, so on and so forth. Like, I have been inspired a lot in the business sense and in the just think differently than how I thought, from the space from which I would think from, about how men think about things, about how men generate ideas in business, or how about men don't really have an option to fucking quit, or how men have to reinvent themselves over and over and over. Like that, like, I had a dad my whole life growing up, so obviously I watched a man operate, but to see how, men have to do this. Women have to too, but my experience has been that, has been different. So just watching men operate has been very inspirational as a woman, as a business owner, as a struggling human, as a mother, as a wife, as a friend. Has definitely made me think differently in business, has definitely made my grind different, has definitely made my focus and priority, just shift in places where I'm like, damn, I don't know if I would have thought this way if this wasn't, introduced to me, if somebody hadn't inspired me, if watching somebody do what they do hadn't inspired me or shown me that, oh shit, there's a whole nother way to do this. There's a whole nother way to approach this. There's a whole other way to be successful in certain things. You just got to think differently. So I love that part.
Okay, I think we toward the end. Let's do a simple rundown. I looked in a couple different areas. Tell me what inspires you in these areas, if you could think of anything. Okay. And then after that, then we're gonna talk about if there's any specific people who inspire you. So just in life, what inspires you in life? My children inspire me in life. They're actually they're actually better people than I was at that age.
Of course. Oh yeah. I mean, we would not be doing a good job if they weren't better than us, right? Like, that's like the measure of a good parent, actually, when your kids are better than you.
Yeah, I can take some credit for them, but like some of them, my son just came out a warm-hearted, nice kid. That wasn't even nothing I could take credit for. Now you could take credit for not curbing it,
right?
And acknowledging it and not trying to make. Because really, maybe I would, especially boxing, being fighter, this and that. You try to encourage your kids be tough. I wasn't going. I knew that wasn't his nature, so I'm not going to try to make him into something that he's not. Make him this rough, fighter. I had to, just teach him how you defend yourself. But that's as far as it's going to go, because he ain't me when it comes to that.
Right.
What I do love is that he's become so much like me in my later days. As far as he is a thinker like crazy. He's a thinker, which I just love that about him. We can have some great conversations. He loves asking me random off the cuff questions like I do all the time. And we, and he's definitely a free thinker.
I love it.
Any question and answer, then any answer you get, well, not necessarily. It could also be, but I'm like, oh, you're right too about that. It's always, we're going to examine every question and every answer. That's one. Anyway, what in life inspirations for you?
I have to agree with kids too. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately, that kids are just perfect. They're just fucking perfect people until adults ruin them, until society ruins them. But how honest and genuine and sincere and just absolutely perfect and lovable and kind children are, right? So I definitely, so in being, in being with my children every single day, they too do things that they're better than me. It's the sweetest shit ever. I actually posted something last night on Facebook, and I said that the way that my son loves me saves me sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying not to cry, but I mean it, you know? So
Right.
there's inspiration in knowing that I raised a phenomenal fucking human. Like, I can't take all the credit, obviously, right? But for what it's worth, he's a great fucking kid. And so all my kids are phenomenal testaments to what I thought and think my job is as a mom in this life, to put out good humans. So they're very, they inspire me to continue to do what the fuck I do. Continue to be who I am and try to provide for them what I do so that they can continue being good fucking people.
I'll also add on that. No, go. You were still saying something. Go ahead.
No, that's pretty much it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The one thing that I said, people ask, you know, who are you? A question that I often ask people: tell me about who you are without mentioning your job or occupation. Mm-hmm. And my main response is I'm a teacher, I'm a learner, and I'm a teacher. Mm-hmm. And I really believe so. One of my inspirations is I am inspired by helping improve the quality of life of other people. Mm-hmm. Now, there is no measuring stick to that. If I can help put a smile on your face or get you to think about something, or help, you know, you might have had this mental block and I do or say something that can help navigate you through that block. That is helping improve your quality of life. Mm-hmm. And so when I say I am inspired in having the ability to do that. So part of my inspiration is make sure you stay on top of your shit. Make sure that you are happy and whole individual so that you can exude that energy out to the people that you come in contact with. Mm-hmm. So I know that that's where I find purpose. And since that's where I find purpose, then I understand the value of being and staying in a good space as much as possible, because me staying in a good space is not just about me. It also leads to my purpose where I can help other people do the same. In business, what inspires you in business?
Just
money.
Learning. No, because I am, unfortunately, you know, we inherited a profession that there's not a lot of money in. You don't make a lot of money in a small mom and pop type of, you know, business that we run. My sister and I have actually not paid ourselves for many, 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 many months. We just keep the fucking doors open. So there's never ever been money in it. My dad used to joke about that shit all the fucking time, you know. So no, I think, but I also feel like the nature of the business that we are in is also not your regular run-of-the-mill fucking business, right? So like, for me, what inspires me in business, I guess, is just seeing them thrive, right? Seeing a small mom and pop come from, you know, a little seed to actually making it, you know. Being able to, you know, pay the rent and, you know, pay all of the utilities and have employees and follow the law and know the guidelines. Like, there is a lot to business ownership. So business owners and entrepreneurs definitely inspire me, because owning a business can definitely change your life in a very, very, very bad way if it doesn't go right.
Right.
So like, you know, people go to like motivational conferences and all these things. And I guess because, again, the nature of the type of work that I do is therapy every day, all day long. Like, that's, you're constantly thinking in a tool bag of solution-based thinking. So I don't, you know, I don't go to conferences and shit like that, you know, but I definitely, you know, involve myself around other small business owners and people in the same type of community and the type of profession that I'm in, and learn how the fuck they made it. what things do I need to do? What things do we need to do differently? How can we improve? You know, and they always say you're supposed to, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong fucking room. So I just try to hang out with business people who are far more intelligent than me.
Let me ask you this: who are people who inspire you in business?
Small business owners, mom and pops, family owned, operated places, people who are, you know, not receiving grants and loans and funds and money, and not to say that things shouldn't be given to do startups and things like that, right? But like there is no fallback. It's all you. There's no stipends coming. It's all you.
So yeah, and let me so like I said, like I mentioned Tierra, that's someone who
she inspired me so much. She's during COVID.
And that's what I was going to say.
Like I ordered like 8 or 9 or 10 of her fucking candles. Like watching her go from like, oh, I had this idea to I want to make some really good candles. Like I'm baking in my house, and I'm watching her pour waxes and shit. And then she's getting her labels. I'm like, I need labels, and she, you know. So and then she's got a store, right? Like it just was so fucking inspiring to see a woman just take an idea and run with it, and did the damn thing. Did it. Absolutely.
Yeah, like I said, my friend David Bean, he had a hell of a journey. Like to see where he came from to what he's doing now. That
and this is your friend who's back home, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And his food is off the chain, and I don't even have to pump it up. Everybody who live there knows. Say what?
I said, why y'all ain't tell me that when I drove through there a couple years ago and I stopped?
I don't know. I think
I sure was hungry, and I was like, Matt, where is there to eat?
Just opening up. I think he was just open. He was doing like individual catering.
Well, this was actually opened up COVID too. This was 2021.
Yeah, I think it was later around that time. I don't know if he had just started like opening up a physical location, but yeah.
Okay.
You ain't got to say nothing. Everybody know who he is. Where I'm at. My best friend Prince. I'm inspired by him.
You've said that before. Yeah.
I've known him for almost 25 years now, and he has never ever punched a clock. He's never ever punched the clock.
Yep.
I've always punched the clock. I've done a little extra dabbling on the side, but I mean, he's never ever. And he's one of those ideal people. Like he comes up with ideas and he'll run them. And I'll say he's one of the people who helped me get out of some of my ruts when I was face down in the ground and things wasn't working for me. He had cleaning businesses. He was like, all right, well, come on, you come work with me. And I worked with him till I got on his feet. I was homeless at the time. I got my own place, got my own, everything. So, and it was just someone that helped me get moving. And he helped me so much because he just has the mindset of nobody has time to feel sorry for themselves, especially when it comes to business. It's like, while you're feeling sorry for yourself, what are you going to do?
And it goes back to the inspiration that men, I think, you can't fail. You can't. Yeah, you got to fucking figure it out. Like, if you haven't punched the clock for 25 years, and I've had this conversation many times with folks that are employees and they're employers, and both of them are fucking needed, but everybody's not made to be an employee, and everybody's not made to be an employer. So when you are not punching the clock, you got to fucking figure it out, and it is scary and tough.
Yeah,
and that is definitely
I've done that for several years. It ain't it's not for the faint of heart.
Hell no.
Talking about you wake up like, where the money at? How I'm gonna get it?
Yeah.
It's rough. So yeah, he definitely inspires me. Not just because he hasn't punched the clock, but I watched him go from what they like shade tree mechanic type stuff, like let me do this little side, let me get right. But he grew and he learned over time, and he learned how to not just find quick hustles, but actually
Right.
legitimate
Legitimate
businesses
businesses. Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
can get contracts from
Right.
major people and know how to get. He has a plethora of knowledge now that I'm able to pull from.
Right.
But so it was also like really learning business,
Yeah.
and learning how to be legit in business and learning how to. So yeah, definitely, now he has his hands in a lot of stuff. Got, commercial daiquiri shops, still doing construction. He owns
Mhm.
duplexes and, properties. And I'm like, man, that
Mhm.
it's inspiring, very inspiring for somebody like
Mhm.
me. And the last person I say in business, Smack. Smack inspires me.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And
Definitely.
I don't speak to him all the time, but just when he dives into something, he dives into it. See how he
Right.
like
Right.
move, even to see how he evolved Black Tea Talk, and he puts excellence in his stuff and what he does, and not he has internal standards on what he wants a thing to
Mhm.
be or to look like.
Mhm.
So his presentation is always great, and he also what I'm inspired by him is he understands the purpose of planting seeds.
Yeah.
See, there's some shows I went to, there's been several hundred people, and there's some things I've seen him go to, has been a couple people.
Right.
But he understands the process and how,
Mhm.
this is an opportunity for me in this is an opportunity to me to cultivate my skills. This is an opportunity for me to gain fan. This is an opportunity for me to sell product. But he has all of it available, and no matter what it is, whether it's something where it's a couple hundred people or a couple people, there's a stamp of excellence on what he does at all times. And I'm like, that's super dope. And just to see how he goes about promoting, and
Mhm.
even with the DJing thing, he didn't get complacent just off of his name, because a lot of people know me and I can
Right.
DJ. He like, I'm going to hone my skills, and you can see how good he's gotten from the time he got back into it to where
Mhm.
he is now. He's one of the, nah, I ain't just gonna be adequate. I'm gonna be the best DJ.
Right.
And I'm not
If
just gonna
Imma
be
do
good
it.
at song selection. I'm gonna be good at the scratching and the
Mhm.
mixing and the
Mhm.
merging different old school to new school songs, and like all of that stuff. It's
Mhm.
inspiring to be like, okay, we gonna what we do, we're gonna do it right. But and this is like, he really does inspire me in a lot of ways. But it's not always I'm gonna get everything right before I present it. I got the basics of what I want. I'm gonna start, and as I'm starting and moving in it, I'm going to develop it, grow it, perfect it in the
Right.
process, and not
Right.
just that analysis by paralysis where I got to get everything right before I start making moves. So
Right.
that absolutely inspired me in so many things that I do, because it's like, I don't have to have all of the equipment that I want. I don't have to have everything perfect. I don't have to have the full followership. I can have the idea, the basic foundation. I can start moving, and I can grow
Mhm.
it as I keep moving. So
Mhm.
shout out to Smack. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. I agree. And over the years that him and I have obviously been very close, I've gotten a lot out of the business, education relationship part. And I think one of the reasons why you know, there would be a lot of people who would give me shit, honestly, for supporting him the way that I do, right? And I watched my dad operate, Smack and my dad operate very, very similarly in business, right? So a lot of the things that Smack does, I come from that, right? So seeing
Mhm.
the parallel to operating good business, my dad always said, if you want something done right, you're going to have to do it yourself. And so seeing that be done over and over and over, I always supported and always promoted my friend because he had good
Right.
business. It was
Right.
good business, and the
Mhm.
product was equally fucking good.
Right.
So it's not hard to support something that's just good.
Right.
And again, everybody, everybody doesn't have, you know, a strong sense when it comes to running a business. And you learn
Right.
that eventually sometimes about yourself, right? But it's definitely inspiring to see it continue to just continue to see it. continue to see that if you plant the fucking seed and you do the work,
Yep.
it always comes to fruition.
Yep.
As long as you do what you say you're going to do and you do it the right way, it will turn out to be what it's supposed to be. There's definitely a lot of inspiration gained from that. Absolutely.
I don't know if I want to close on this note, but there's a question out here earlier that I thought was
I saw that about the spouse thing.
How do you stay inspired when you have a spouse that is not on board with your inspirations? F them.
Well,
but no.
You're the one that's married around this motherfucker, so go ahead and you can answer. But I agree with you, and that's probably why I'm, not married or all that shit, right? Fuck them.
How do you stay inspired? That's a tough. I mean, because in relationships, all relationships are different. So, and then let me say it like this: there is a difference between a person who doesn't support you,
right,
and someone who is against you. Like, you can not support me, but you don't have to be against me. And sometimes people be like, okay, well, yeah, just do your thing. Well,
but don't you have to be one or the other? If you're a partner, you have to choose one or the other.
No,
that's not even one. Neutral? Is it fair to be neutral? Because if you're neutral, they say you err on the side of the oppressor. So in this type of situation, like if you're neutral,
you could deal with neutral. You can deal with supportive, or you can deal with neutral. What becomes a problem is when someone is in opposition to you. So even we would always have like even the old church analogy, like if you don't agree or believe the way I believe, okay, you don't have to come to church, but you can be like, hey, if that works for you. That's like my grandmother and grandfather. They were married for 60 some years, and for 50 some of them years, my grandfather didn't go to church, but he never impeded or stopped or spoke against my grandmother going to church.
Right.
You did you, I do me. But it's a difference. You have some people, no, you don't need to go to that church. You don't need to do, like, now you're opposing what I'm trying to do.
Sure.
So when it comes to, and I just use that as an example. So there's a difference between, oh yeah, they're not supporting me as far as helping me along in my endeavors, but you're not doing anything to hurt my endeavors either.
But it also hurts that you don't support me. And that doesn't mean that you have to agree.
But you got to get over that, though.
Well, but do you? I mean, well, yes, maybe to a certain degree, but that doesn't mean that two people have to agree on every single thing. But if I am inspired by something, if something is inspirational to me, and we're going back with the positive connotations that inspiration is, for my partner, my spouse, we don't have to agree on everything. This is why I have to have some common foundation with men that I'm going to pursue. Because we have to have some commonalities, because it's going to cause an issue. You don't have to support me. You don't have to agree with what I do or think or feel by any means, but you got to support me and I got to support you. Like
yes.
There's definitely some feeling involved if your partner is not supporting you. Like,
but that's a good point too. Like, there's a difference between supporting you and supporting the dream or the goal or the objective. Some people, they may not support the goal or objective. Like, I'm gonna use a simple example. My one of my best friends and his wife, they both do kind of freelance work. She's a painter, you know who they are. So if they're like, I may not go to all the art galleries with you. I ain't gonna help you set it up and be like, hey, come here, buy this, check this out. Like that, okay, that's the ultimate level of support. Like I'm getting, I might not do that. I might, hey, have a good show. Hey, you can do it. You're awesome.
I mean, but if you ain't got nothing else that you doing right now, why you not coming with me and helping me set up?
No.
It ain't even gotta be your thing, but I'm your thing. I'm your thing. The art, the this, the that, the food, it ain't gotta be your thing, but I'm your thing. Why are you not coming here to support me if you're not occupied, busy,
take my lip service, take my lip service and my encouragement and run with that and go live your life.
I mean, you can do that, and obviously support comes in levels. But that would, so again, this is why, like, I gotta have some foundational commonalities between me and my man, because I don't have to like what I don't like. I give me a man tomorrow. He's an avid fucking football player. That's gonna be an issue, but I'm gonna let him make it because that's an ingrained thing for a lot of people, right? I'm not gonna trip if dude watches football, on Sundays, whatever. But like, if there's just certain things that become an interference to our ability to support each other on the level in which we need each other for. I'm not, like, I'll throw you a fucking Super Bowl party. I don't watch football. I don't give a shit, but it's important to you. So I want to support you.
You shouldn't need that, and don't even expect it, because now that interferes with your.
Maybe you should. Maybe let me say.
So I say this like this.
But who's to say you don't need it?
I have several rapper friends, who either on a local level or something like that. And I had some, when it's time to go out and do shows, some, all right, have a good show, babe. I love you. Do great.
Right.
I'm going to support you. Go out there, I'm giving you the do great, okay. But I ain't coming to none of your shows with you. And now, there's other rapper friends that I had.
That's whack to me. Like, that's whack to me. Unless you don't want me to be there, or unless it's like one of those situations where like, not a good venue, don't come.
Maybe they don't like the music. Maybe they don't like the music. So what I'm, because there's other rappers that I know. Every time I saw them, they wife gonna be there in the front row singing the song like it's the first time they heard it. Every single time.
That's what we do.
Every single time.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. Man. Shout out to my boy Saul Paul and his wife, because they went from nothing, and he literally travels all over the world and does everything. And I remember when he was, I remember when he had just got out of jail.
Yeah, this ain't been around Austin forever.
I remember that was one of the first, even before I talked to Blue, I knew Saul Paul and I was hanging out. He was telling me about his music dream even back then.
Wow.
Because I had bought all the equipment. I had equipment and stuff like that. We linked up on some levels, but he just had his own way that he did things, and he stuck with it. He stuck with it, and literally, I'll look up and he's somewhere in Asia. He's doing stuff in Africa. He got his own water. He got his own book. And his wife Bianca is right next to him everywhere. Everywhere.
Should be, absolutely.
And it ain't because he's successful. When we was doing shows and there was 5 people there, she was right up in the front of the.
Absolutely, that's what we supposed to do. So spouse is not like my spouse is not my homie lover friend. It's not my situation. Spouse is you my motherfucker ride or die for the rest of our life. You are supposed to be by my side in my endeavors.
Should I lose inspiration just because you don't come to my shows?
Again, there's going to be an element of feelings involved, whether it's inadvertently being hurt because you're not here for me, as opposed to, and that could just be one person's perspective. The next person don't give a fuck, no big deal, right? But if it is something that affects you, it's worth bringing to the table, like, and
if it affects you. But I'm saying, if it affects you, I'm saying don't let that stuff, as long as they ain't against you, then don't let their lack of participation affect you.
Well,
That's your inspiration.
I can't subscribe to that because it's going to affect me if your participation in my inspiration
it's your inspiration.
Right.
My inspiration should not be contingent on how much you participate.
No, because that's Nikki, let me say this too, Nikki. This is where motivation comes from. Because motivation has to keep you going.
I see this oftentimes where people will get stagnant or stop moving, and then the question, like, yeah, I mean, she don't support me or she don't like. But this is your dream,
right?
Why does she have to be just as invested in your dream as you?
I don't think she has to be just invested. I just think she has to be invested. She has to be invested.
Maybe
Why
the
would you not
investment,
be invested in your man's passions, in your
some of
man's
the
hobby, in his
investment is
art, in his creativity? Like, I don't know how to make a fucking beat, but I guarantee motherfucking to you, every house that we ever moved into had to have a studio in it so I could support my man's passion and inspiration of having a studio. And that's just what it was. Like, you're supposed to support your partner. I don't
some
I, I
support
don't like
comes
every
in the
track that he
form.
wrote, but
Uh-uh.
I bang that shit. You just supposed to support your partner.
Well,
Partner is partner.
listen. This is where some support comes in. Is that the Saturdays and Sundays that we supposed to have date night and we supposed to be hanging out and Netflix chill, going to get to this and this and that. Yeah, he got shows to do. My support is giving away our free time, our us time for the sake of your dream. That's a level of support.
But you're not going.
But I'm not stopping you from going.
That's like saying,
That's a level of support.
I agree. I agree. I mean, promoting your partner's business is a level of support, and posting pictures of your partner's art, whatever the form may be, whether it's music, food, design, you name it, right? Carpentry, shit. Uh, there's a million ways to obviously show support.
Let me address this post real quick.
Okay.
Golden Brown Sugar said, "You want to start a cleaning business? You need your spouse help to start it or invest." Spouse says, "I'm not contributing financially or I don't have the time." Let me tell you something. This is what I learned because I've done several independent businesses. By the end, what I learned is I do not use any business I'm starting. I do not use my inner circle at all. And I
Right.
will only, even with a spouse, I will only, they're gonna have to beg me to death for me to even allow them to participate. It's not because I don't want people's help. It's just because if you really want a business to start from the ground up or really get that thrust, don't use your friends and family. It's not because of it's number one, your friends and family also, they seen the last 5 or 6 businesses that started and stopped. So they don't really believe you. And then on top of that, even those who support you, that's not the this sound bad. That's not the initial support that you want. Because it's not support in the actual product or service that you're giving. They're supporting you, like, okay, let me do this just to help you. But the response and the activity that you get from that business, it can be misleading because it's not actual people who are supporting your business for the product. It's you got friends and family that's doing it because I like you and I said I'm gonna support you.
Right.
And then when because your friends and family, after they support you or they buy the shirts that you sell and this and this and that, they're gonna buy 1 or 2 because it's you.
Right.
But then after they done, okay, yeah, now you had a couple good months and now you everything dropped off because you didn't have real supporters of the product. You just had some people who wanted to help you kickstart something. Mm-hmm. So it's better that you find true supporters that really like the product or the good or the service that you're selling, because those are repeat customers.
Right.
People that's in your inner circle, they doing it because they like you. And once they didn't they do it or they did it because they like you, those are people that you can't really, they're not bad people at all. They're trying to help you, but for the sake of business, then it gives you a false sense of where you actually are.
Yeah, I would have a problem. I just would if I had a partner who says I'm not contributing financially or I don't have time. Now, I can understand that though too, because you do have the right to decide what you want to do with your own money and time, no doubt. And I don't think that you're just obligated to do certain shit all the time, because you are my spouse. We're married, right? You still are your own fucking person. You get the right to say what you do and don't like. But So in
And
this example,
it's all circumstantial. So
well,
what happens
so
is
the example that she gave is a cleaning business, right? There's so many businesses that I can think of starting. Like people ask me often, like why I don't start a food truck, and I fuck no. This is a horrible city to have a food truck, actually, and I've just seen way too many of vegan food trucks, and that would be what I do. Closed. They just cannot stay open, and hell, we can barely keep our fucking doors open as a business. So, like, there's absolutely not a single part of me that would want to endeavor in something else that I've seen have a high rate of not being able to fucking sustain itself. Right. So I get that some businesses could be really, really risky, and you may have a partner who's like, "Yeah, I'm not willing to put $20,000 into a fucking food truck." Like, Nick, I think that scares me. Or I don't have the time. I get that. Maybe you really and truly don't have the time. Like there's a huge fucking commitment to starting a business, but a cleaning business, and I say that because I've had one and I still do this. A cleaning business, if I had a partner who literally was like a cleaning business and said that he is not contributing financially, you can't help me buy a vacuum cleaner so I can go make some fucking money and flip this vacuum cleaner 29 times. Like, cool. It's my idea. But your partner, I think that your partner should be your first fucking financial investor, your first financial backer. Like, let my man have an idea, and I have the ability to financially help kickstart. Sure. You talked about not having all the equipment and so on and so forth, right? Let my partner say, this is what this is what I want to do, and I trust that they have a good business mindset to pull some shit off. They're not just one of those people that has ideas all the goddamn time and does never do anything with them. They actually put some shit in play to do more than just the idea. I am going to support any way that I can because that's my person. That's my partner. That's what brings them happiness. This is a goal. This is an idea. This is joy. So I would have a problem if my spouse told me I'm not contributing financially and I don't have time.
Let me throw a scenario out there.
We don't operate like that. Not over here.
What now? If your partner is the one that's holding down the necessities, meaning they the one who paying the rent and they paying the utilities, and they like, yo, I'm holding all this down by myself while you're venturing in this. I'm not going to be able to support financially because I'm already doing all the financial support right now. That's different.
It is, but can we make it happen? Can we somehow do this so that I can help us get out of this situation?
It depends on the motivation.
I can help propel us, and again, just with a cleaning business. And I say this because I own a cleaning business, and it's not that fucking expensive to start a cleaning business, and it makes its money real goddamn quick. You pay for all your equipment in about 2 cleans, 3 cleans.
So then the question, hold on, Nikki. So then the question is, what are you doing for yourself? I mean, in this scenario.
Well, so in a cleaning business, you are holing your fucking body out. You are holing yourself out to make this business be a success. As an owner and operator, you fucking doing the work. You're generating the leads. You're making sure clients call you back. You're making sure that they tell their neighbors and their family that they trust you. They know you don't look through this, that, and the third. So my partner should be supporting my ability to bring in a couple $1,000s a week.
Yeah, but I mean, to get some of the basic equipment, like you talk about, you need to actually start cleaning properties and stuff like that. It don't take a lot. So if you're saying I need you to help me with this, it's like, are you doing anything for yourself? Because this is the thing. It's really about the motivation behind it. And what a good partner will do also, at the bare minimum, I'm going to partner in your movement.
Right.
Now, if you ain't moving, if you ain't doing nothing, and you just saying, I need you to help me with this, I need you to help me with this, but you ain't making no movement yourself, like, no, I need you, as I see you moving, I'm going to. So for instance, even like with me, when sometimes I have green screens in my background, and I have different graphics depending on what show I do. This microphone that I got, this screen like this, I got different lighting, the sound pads I got on my wall. That all of that came from my spouse supporting me when they like, oh, you really trying to do this podcasting thing, huh?
Yeah.
But it came from my action. As they saw my action, they like, okay, so what? Even the chair I'm sitting in, like,
Yeah.
Thank you. Look, I'm thinking of all this stuff that I got. I'm like, thank you.
Right.
The chair I'm sitting in and everything. Like, shoot,
Right.
everything that you see except for me.
Right.
I mean, pretty much. Yeah. So it's one of those things, like, but it comes with action. As I start moving,
Right.
people see, okay, I can see that this is a dream or goal of yours. Now let me help support you in your already existing movement.
Right.
And that's a difference. There's a difference.
Right. It is. And there, again, there's a lot of ways to support, but and yes, you know, again, you have to know your partner. You have to know your fucking partner. And again, this is my spouse. So there's a lot of times.
But let me say this though.
Mm-hmm.
She don't listen to none of my shows. None.
Right.
Like, she listens to none of my shows at all.
You said that before. Yeah.
So that goes back to what I'm saying. Like, she not participating in it, but there's different ways you can support me without actually being there, showing up. When we did the Black Tea Talk Live, she wasn't there. She wasn't like, none of that stuff. She ain't showing up to none of it. No,
but you know how you supported her? You wore your fucking mask the entire night because she was at home pregnant. You were like, I can't take anything home. So, I mean, there's so many ways that you can support your partner, but had you not even wore your fucking mask and like, was like, no, because, you know, we're going to be live. You were like, no, fuck that. I don't care what it looks like. It's going to be on my face. That's a big mask too.
I took it off while I was talking for a second. I feel like once we got seated in this situation, I'm like, let me go. This dirty ass microphone.
Oh my God. It was
I don't know who was speaking in this microphone before. I was so paranoid.
But you were very conscientious though about what the fuck was happening. And I thought that was absolutely sweet. And that's what you're supposed to do as a partner. Like, you know, many times my kids or like, you know, their dad when we were together would come and help me clean houses, or I would pull up into the driveway and back in, and the boys and their dad are in the fucking driveway before I even open the back to unload the car because they know I'm about to fucking collapse. They're taking all my cleaning supplies out, you know, airing out the car. You know, I mean, there's just you have to operate as a partnership if you're gonna be in a partnership.
Yeah,
and to your point, support is also being transparent with your fucking partner and saying, hey, look, so let's say the actions are not there, right? Let's say you just constantly got all these fucking ideas and you don't really put any feet to the ground with them, right? You support is also telling your partner, look, babe, we didn't have this conversation a couple times. Or however you want to have the conversation, telling them how you truly feel is support too. They may not feel like it at that moment because how dare you? But I'm telling you the fucking truth because I love you, because I support you, because I don't want to have to lie and make it seem like I'm going to support you, but I'm not right now. You're not ready. So, I mean, you can still be able to even say that without being like, oh, I'm not going to support you financially and I don't have the time. Like somebody said in here, time is free. Time isn't free, but time is free. Like time is super fucking expensive, but for your partner helping you out, like I feel like that's part of the gig.
Right. And then on the flip side, okay, I know she just got done cleaning all these houses and buildings. I'm gonna make sure the dishes are done and food cooked and like all of that. By the time you get back, you ain't got nothing that you need to worry about.
Come in, take a shower, and get on the couch.
Right. Exactly. Those levels of support.
And I think that when people do shit like that, it's easier for them. It's easy. So I think when people do shit like that, it's easier for those that maybe have the passion and inspiration that don't necessarily have their partner involved hands on. It's so the performer whose partner doesn't show up front row, but they've done every fucking thing else to get you there. Like, cool. That works. That works.
Right.
Compromise. That works.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think for the individual, you should always have a sharp eye on understanding and acknowledging the various types of support.
Agreed.
Don't think just because this person doesn't support me in the way that would be ideal to me that they're not supporting me.
Very true as well. Very true. And that's like an important lesson to learn for everything, quite honestly.
Right.
Absolutely true.
So even like, you know, in some instances, like we talk about my mom, because my sister, she really ran track, also ran track more summer AAU and stuff like that. She rarely ever showed up to any of our track meets. But she was very she would get so nervous at the track meet. Like she like, no, I'd be nervous. I'd be, you know, I'd probably drive you crazy being there.
Right.
Because I'm so wired up and nervous that, you know, and it's, you know, but you drove us there, you picked us up, you got us our track cleats and all of the stuff that we needed and everything like that. So it's, you know, understand support comes in various ways.
Agree. We
managed to hit 100 hour and 50 minutes.
So much for we're only gonna go an hour tonight. I was like, oh, more questions. And this was great. So
it was.
This was inspiring. Like, really, it was. Like, it was a very inspiring conversation. And now I'm fucking motivated to go do something I need to do. So, like, I thank you, Demetrius, for suggesting this. I was not sure how I felt about the topic, honestly, at first, but I love it. So thank you for that.
Good.
I appreciate that. And as always, appreciate having this conversation with you, because you are definitely somebody who inspires me probably every time we talk. So I appreciate the conversation. This was cool. And those of y'all that, you know, were in the comments with us and gave us suggestions and, you know, just your experiences, appreciate y'all's support, man. 100% appreciate your support. You know, we can't do this without people watching us, but we will, you know, but we want to.
Oh, yeah. I can do. I prefer not to, but I can.
But we want to continue to have these conversations so that we can inspire, you know, like that is what we do this for. So appreciate all the feedback. Make sure you share. And we'll figure out what we got going on for the rest of this year. And if you have some topic suggestions for us, definitely shoot them our way. And we will talk about it. You got anything else you want to share?
Nope.
All right. Good night.